Dear Derry, welcome to Motivational Monday. I was looking through quite a few motivational... I don't understand. I'm not yawning before I start doing this thing. As soon as I start recording this, I start yawning. I don't know what it is. Now, with Jonathan Colton, here's a tidbit about him. With him, I don't want to call it performance anxiety because that sounds like erectile dysfunction, which I'm sure it's not. God, he's so cute. Anyway, hopefully he never sees this. He said that he did on his DVD for one of his tours. There's a part where I think it's actually in San Francisco, I think. Anyway, he's backstage in the green room and he's talking about how his body's last ditch effort to keep him from going up on stage is right before he goes up. He starts getting really, really sleepy, and his body starts trying to shut down so that he doesn't have to go on stage because he gets a little bit nervous about going up in front of people, which is I can kind of understand. But I'm not really going up in front of a bunch of people. I'm going up in front of a webcam that for some reason is kind of fuzzy. I don't know why. Not that it's covered in hair. It's just I see other people who make webcam or podcasts, vlogs, vlogs, whatever you want to call it, with the same model that I have. I think Dodger uses the same webcam model that I have, and hers are nice and crisp and clear. And I don't know, maybe mine is faulty. I don't know. It's not the autofocus because I've messed with that and I've gotten it to the point where it's focused on me and then I turn it off so that it stops trying to frantically adjust when I move my fingers up in the frame or whatever. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, as I was saying, in trying to find some good motivational stuff for today, I was looking through. I'm going to have some more lemonade. This lemonade is the all-natural lemonade from Wendy's, which is one of the few really good things they have there. I'm told that their milkshakes are also good. I doubt that they could be as good as the milkshake that I got in the basement of the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. There was a section of Chicago that had survived the fire, and it's down in the bottom of the thing. It's like a little block or portion of a block that is still there. And there's a mall shop or a soda and ice cream shop that they still keep doing business with. Best milkshake I've ever had was there. And I also had a banana split. And my mother ordered a chocolate sundae, which she ate half of and couldn't finish. So she gave me the other half. And my stepfather ordered one and didn't like it, so he gave me all of his. That was a very rough afternoon for me because that was a lot of dairy to take in and a lot of sugar. And I was bouncing off the freaking walls. I mean, I was like 12, 13 years old, I think. So I'm like a freaking squirrel on PCP. It was crazy. Anyway, the process of looking through, motivational phrases and whatnot for today. Maybe it's just the word motivational. I saw a bunch of demotivational posters that were just damned funny. And now I can't remember any of them. So I guess they either worked and I've been demotivated to the point that I can't remember what they were. I think it is the word motivation. I think it is that word. I'm going to have to come up with, another word for it. Squibble. We will call it Squibble Monday. No, that's not going to work for the damn. Because then I'll have to explain every Monday what the hell I mean when I say squibble. And in the process of explaining what I mean when I say squibble, I will have to say the word that makes me yawn. I don't think that's going to work too well. Maybe I just need to immunize myself and just keep saying motivational. So I found a couple of sayings that I thought were really, really good. And I figured that I would share them with you. But there are a lot of people in my lifetime who have been sources of motivational phrases. You know, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Yoda. Actually, yes, Yoda. I mean, his thing that he says to Luke when Luke's gonna raise the X-wing out of the swamp, he said, "Okay, I'll try," and Yoda says, "No, do it or don't." But there is no. I mean, to say that you'll try is not committing to doing what you either say, "I'm doing it," and you either, even if you try, you either succeed or you don't. It's a binary thing. But to say that you will try is simply wussing out and not committing to it because you don't want to say you'll do it and then risk failure. There is a wonderful picture I saw recently that is just great. In fact, I will put it up right here. This image is awesome, and it says a lot about the mentality that you need if you're going to succeed in anything. It is not there is no try. You either do it or you don't. Do not start with me. You're about to do it too, aren't you? Do or do not. Either you do it or you don't. You either commit to doing it. And if you fail, fine, you failed. No big deal. Pick yourself up and do it again. But don't try. Do it. So yes, Yoda was always a big thing for me. And the whole, don't judge me by my size, which is also kind of a is also kind of a don't judge a book by its cover sort of thing. I mean, because as we saw, unfortunately, with Count Dooku, his name still cracks me up. Nothing against Mr. Lee, but however, the hilt to his lightsaber was really cool. Yoda can kick ass, even though he's young. Well, he wasn't as young then, but he was close. He was probably, 800 years old at the time? And I'm sure he's right. When Luke reaches 900 years old, he probably will not look as good as Yoda did. I'd still rather date a Wookiee, though, because according to Han Solo, they're very good kissers. And if you think that I'm wrong on that, because I've heard a lot of people argue with me, just go and watch The Empire Strikes Back when they're in the fort on Hoth, and Princess Leia says, "I'd just as soon kiss a Wookiee," and Han says, "I can arrange that." Listen to him as he walks off down the hallway. He says, very clearly, you could use a good kiss. Wookiees are good kissers. How does Han Solo know that? I'm sure that there is some very lonely, smoldering, motivational. Lonely smuggling runs. And you notice how easily when they got tractored into the Death Star, and they were sitting on the edges of the little compartment things, and Han Solo's sitting on the edge, and Chewbacca comes up between his legs, and maybe I should rephrase that. Anyway, so Han starts immediately, petting his head. There's some history there. That is not the first time they've been in that position. This is not Motivational Monday. This should be on like Smutty Sunday or Slutty Sunday. No, I'm not going to do Slutty Sunday or Smutty Sunday. And I'm not doing that for TMI Tuesday either. I think I've got one for TMI Tuesday anyway. I think I do anyway. I have to write it down before I forget it, which I think I may have just done. Motivational Monday. Here we go. So, I found 3 that were really, really good that I liked a lot. One of them, which kind of ties in with Yoda's thing, was, basically what he was saying is don't make excuses for yourself. If you give yourself an out, you will never commit to it because you will always have that, you're putting that safety net there in expectation of failure. Don't do that. So don't make excuses for yourself before you even make the attempt. So that was one, was Yoda's words themselves. The other one is don't look back. You're not going that way. I like that one too. That one's really, really good. I'm like, I mean, there is retrospective, paying attention to where you've come from, but so that one's a little, because sometimes you do have to look back, but that's for perspective, not, anticipation of returning that direction. And then the one that really, really kind of stuck with me was, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. You really, really like that. There is a lot of wisdom in that one little phrase. And with a lot of the drama that we see on the internet coming from everything, and a lot of people, something happens that they don't like, and their first instinct is to lash out, to strike back. And if you don't do that, it completely disarms the situation. Instead of getting into these crashing waves of drama bullshit that just start feeding on itself and get bigger and worse and worse and worse until friendships are destroyed. I mean, not just entire bridges, but entire continents are burned, in the attempt of either one-upping or just getting some kind of useless vengeance that doesn't mean anything, because what you're arguing about started from, whether a coin landed heads or tails. Learn to disengage. I mean, that whole line from War Games, and I did watch War Games 2, The Dead Code, recently. It was good at the beginning, and it just got really bad by the end. But anyway, the both of them had the same thing. The only winning move is not to play. That goes for the internet too. Well, it goes for flame wars and the internet. I can't tell you how many times somebody has started some kind of an argument and tried to bait me into, some kind of just a bitch fest. I've just been like, okay, you go ahead and think that. I'll be over here. Excuse me. And they're like, but I just said blah, blah. See, I heard you. I really don't have time for this kind of useless. No, I got much better things to do with my time. But go ahead, have the conversation. And I just walk away. And oh my God, it makes them so mad. It makes them so mad, because where they derive their power from is manipulating you into an argument. So if you want to be the stronger person, don't let them manipulate you. Just, nope, I'm out, bye. Got better things to do. And don't say it, meanly. Don't say it with any kind of, biting stuff. It's like, no, I'm really, I appreciate that that's your opinion, but clearly we are never going to agree on this topic. So, I'm just going to bow out right now. Okay, thanks. And walk away. And even if they follow you, figuratively speaking, screaming insults at you, don't turn around, don't look back, don't respond, just walk away. I promise you, eventually, someone else will say, dude, just let him go. And the first thing that's going to happen is they are going to turn on that person and go, you don't tell me what to do. And suddenly they go off. And you just go on your merry way with peace and love in your heart. Well, maybe not that, but, it's something. All natural lemonade. Very tangy. It's very tangy. And this is actually starting because the ice is melting. So it's actually becoming watered down. I love lemonade. I love sour things. That's what I like about Eggs Benedict too, and why I get that every Sunday, because the hollandaise sauce has that nice tang to it. Right. So 14 minutes, 25 seconds. Let's just go ahead and call that here, because that's going to take 3 months to encode and upload and process and publish and everything else. I think that's going to be the great thing about getting my new system. And for those of you who have donated, okay, maybe it's not the end, maybe 14 and a half minutes isn't enough. For those of you who have donated to the Get Trina Supercomputer Fund, thank you very much. Last I checked, it was up to $1,200, I think, which the original thing was $9.95. And I want to make sure that there's enough extra so that, I think I mentioned this before, so that the money that Domo will get charged for running the fundraiser on their site and for the taxes that he will get hit with for that additional income. I want to make sure there's enough to cover him so that he doesn't get screwed by trying to do something nice for me. Anyway, once I get the new system, hopefully Adobe Premiere will actually work. And when I encode the stuff, it won't wind up being, 10 times the size. Because, when I finish recording it in Windows Movie Maker, or when I finish recording it initially, before I encode it at the end, the initial recording is just like an MP4, and it's an MPEG, and it's very, very small. And then when I finish doing all the editing and everything, and I say, okay, encode for 1080p, it increases by like a factor of 8 as far as its size. And I'm like, what the hell is doing this? Apparently, it's a really shitty codec. And it just, balloons, and that's why it takes so long to upload. I'm just hoping that something like Adobe Premiere uses a better codec that doesn't, bloat like that. I'm hoping. But anyway, so that'll be one of the things. So 16 minutes and some, sorry, for a second there, I looked over and the clock had stopped. I was like, oh my God, what happened? It was just frozen for a moment. Hopefully that didn't screw this up, because that would really suck. All right, I'm going to let you guys go, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Remember, stay motivated, stay true to yourself. Don't let people goad you into arguments you don't want to have. All right? Nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. Not really. You have ways out. Use them. Okay? All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Be careless.